Today, I want to talk about how the INFJ and the ENFJ are the power couple that nobody ever talks about. And I just want to mention that this is going to discuss two mature and healthy INFJ and ENFJ types. And I know that I've seen videos and I've seen people say that, as INFJs, that ENFJs can be the type that kind of get under their skin and really make them it can be a lot because they're able to see through us and they're able to call us out on certain things that most people can't. And so I know it can be overwhelming. But I just want to talk about the good part of some of the good benefits of the INFJ and ENFJ relationship. So just to start, if you don't know, INFJ and ENFJ are two personality types that are part of the Myers-Briggs personality typing system. There are 16 personality types, and this comes from research done by Carl Jung. And it's basically classifying people based on their four dominant cognitive functions that they use to make decisions and to take in information. So the personality depends on what four you have and also what order those are in, how dominantly you use each one. So the cool thing about INFJ and ENFJ is that we have the exact same four cognitive functions that we use, and the difference is how dominantly we use each one. So I'll just first start off by saying what they are. So for an INFJ, we use introverted intuition as our number one most dominant cognitive function. Our auxiliary function that we use is extroverted feeling, and the tertiary that we use is introverted thinking. And then finally, the inferior function is extroverted sensing. So kind of what they are, introverted intuition is like a database of knowledge that's just kind of contained in our brain. It's something, it's hard to explain, but it's something that it's like a system that our brain uses, and it's pretty unconscious. So it manifests for us as just knowing things and not really being able to give a detailed rational explanation for how we came up with that conclusion. We just kind of know it. That's the introverted intuition. Extroverted feeling, that is being aware of how other people are feeling. And this happens from being able to read their faces, their body language, the tone of their voices, all that stuff, just being aware of how people are feeling around you. Introverted thinking, I struggle with this one. So I'm actually not even going to discuss it because I still need to do more research on this one. And extroverted sensing, that is doing things. So experiencing the world and getting your hands dirty and doing things and creating physical manifestations of things. Basically the opposite of introverted intuition, to be honest, where you're just in your head, building worlds in your head. Extroverted sensing is all hands on, you want to use your senses in the real world. So like I said, for INFJ, we use introverted intuition and extroverted feeling. Those are our first two. Those are the main bread and butter for how we function, which are the exact same two as the ENFJ, but theirs are reversed. So they use extroverted feeling first, and then introverted intuition is the buddy to go with it. So and then their second two are the same as my second two, but they're reversed again, like I said. So they use extroverted sensing for tertiary and then introverted thinking. And I'm going to make another video on introverted thinking after I do more research on it. It's kind of the one that I just don't even care about for some reason. So I haven't really done much research on it, but I will, and I'll make another video talking about that. But it doesn't matter for this video because I'm talking about the first two and how they like manifest differently in the real world, and I think it's cool. So so for myself, let me just use this situation because this is where I notice the biggest difference between myself and my husband. So let's say I'm feeling a certain way, right? Like I'm in my body, I'm feeling a certain way, I'm by myself, I'm whatever. This is like what I'm doing today, how I'm feeling, like the energy that I feel in my body. And then I join a group of people and they have their own energy and like how they're feeling, and everyone's kind of, everyone has their own, but then also as a collective there's like a group collective energy and vibe and mood. So no matter how I'm feeling and how strongly I'm feeling by myself, when I enter into a group setting, instantly I get like just filled and like I absorb is like the best word. I absorb the energy and the vibe of that group. And this is totally unconsciously done. This isn't something where I'm like, oh, I feel like learning how everyone else is. Like, I'm curious how everyone else is feeling. No, it's just like, it just happens. And it can be overwhelming for sure. The thing that I struggle with and what I'm working on now that I've like discovered this whole personality type and cognitive function thing, and realizing like how I work is kind of like hacking that, and I'm trying to figure out different ways to cope with the fact that I do that automatically. But anyway, so I will absorb the energy of the group, and instantly it's like anything I was feeling just out the window. Like I actually have a hard time then remembering how I felt before I entered the group. And these are group, basically anything more than just one other person with me. So like 2 people or more, this will happen to me. I forget how I was feeling. I can't even like get in touch with it because I'm just so consumed with other people, how they're feeling, how they're perceiving the situation, how they're perceiving me, how the things that I'm doing and saying and the facial expressions and body language I have are affecting them. That's just all bombarding me. And I forget, like I can't even access how I was feeling before. And so, any idea, any chance of me changing the energy and the vibe of that group is so low that it's not even funny, because like I can't even remember how I was feeling beforehand. So it's just like the only option is to adopt what everyone else is feeling because it just happens to me. And I don't want to change, like I don't want to disturb that. I don't want to like mess with it. I don't know. It's just I become very submissive to the feeling and the vibe of the group. And contrary to this, when my husband enters the room, so let's do the same situation. He's like feeling a certain way for himself, and then he enters a group setting and the group is feeling a totally different way and they have like their own vibe going on. He has the same thing as me. He's using extroverted feeling, an introverted intuition, and he's able to sense how everyone's feeling. He's super good, just like me, at reading people, feeling how they're feeling, like true empathy, feeling how people are feeling. But he's able to kind of like assess the situation and determine, okay, here's how everyone's feeling, and here's what I think that they would all prefer to be feeling. Like, I don't even know if I'm saying this right, but he can say like, this is what the group is doing, this is their vibe, but like it would be so much better for everyone here if the energy was actually this other type of energy. And he's doing it from a place of selflessness. Like, it's like truly he's thinking about the people around him, because I think he has the same thing where it's just like he can't help the feeling of it. But instead of just accepting it, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to change it. I'm going to adapt the feeling that these people are having and the energy of this room, because I know that it's going to be most beneficial to everyone involved if I do that. And then he's able to dominate the energy and like assert himself, and he has such like a leadership quality about him in these situations where like you can't help but adopt the energy that he's setting. Like, it's really cool to see if you know any ENFJs, or if you've met my husband, or met like I said, if you have ENFJs in your life, it's really cool to watch, because especially as an INFJ, when I get in this situation, I'm like, there's no way you could change the energy of this. Like, look at them. They're so set in how they're feeling. And then he will walk in and it's just like so easy for him, just like setting a new energy, and people are happy to adopt it. People are happy to rise up or whatever and enter this new vibe that he's setting. It's really cool to see, actually. And so ENFJs have that like really dominant energy and assertiveness and like leadership quality, but they are so selfless in what they're doing. Like, I feel like there's other types that like maybe it's very similar, where they have their own feeling and they get into a group and the group is feeling a different way and they completely just assert their own feeling, but it's because they have actually no idea how other people are feeling. They don't care. They're not aware of it at all. And it doesn't even like enter their mind that other people are feeling differently. It's just like, oh, like I feel this way, so of course I'm going to express myself in the way that I feel. And it's not that way at all with my husband, with the ENFJ. That is not how he's approaching it, because he is so aware of how people are feeling. And he is dominating the situation because I think he's thinking like, oh, this is what people need. Like, he's assessing that there needs to be a change, and he has the power to assert that, and he's going to assert the change that's best for everyone, not the one that's just best for him. So because of that, that's what I was going to get to. It's really amazing to have an ENFJ in your life that you trust and who you know is like a really good person, because they have that superpower of reading people and setting the energy. So if you're someone like me who is unable to tell the world how they're feeling, not unable, of course I'm able to, but it doesn't come naturally to me, and it's hard for me. It's really amazing to have an ENFJ who knows you and is able to look past, like, so when for example, if I go into a group setting with my husband, then he knows who I really am and how I'm really feeling. ENFJs are really good at that. Like I said, it's that extroverted feeling and introverted intuition, like the same thing I have, able to look past whatever people are presenting to you and know how they're actually feeling and what they actually want in a situation. So he has that, and he's able to then, no matter how weird I get and like different I'm acting in the group, he's able to know like how I was actually feeling or what's like the best thing for me in the situation. And then he can use that. And he's not going to just honor me, because that's not how ENFJs work. They honor the entire group. But it is nice to have someone that's able to look past like however I'm acting in the moment, because I'm being affected by outside energy, and then to assert the energy that's more beneficial to everyone, and myself included. And Yeah, I know that like ENFJs and INFJs might have, like, I've heard from other INFJs that when they come in contact with an ENFJ or they're in a relationship with one, it can be hard because of the fact that they can call you out and they can see how you're really feeling. Where with INFJs, it's kind of our thing is being able to mask how we're feeling if we want to. And so most people, most types aren't able to really see past it. So if there's something we just don't want to deal with at the moment, then we're able to disguise it and no one will ask us about it. No one will be like up in our business. But ENFJs, they will see right past that, and they don't even like, they can't even, it doesn't even occur to my husband, it seems, that I might be trying to avoid something or putting on a show or whatever. Like to him, it's just like, oh, I see this is how you're feeling. And like, let's deal with it. Let's figure this out. Why are you feeling that way? So yeah, I know it can be a lot. Um, but also, like I said at the beginning, this is, I think, a really good duo for healthy, mature versions of each type who are knowledgeable about themselves and who are willing to grow and to look at maybe some uglier parts of themselves, or some, not ugly, but like some shadow areas and some darker areas that maybe you tried to repress in life. So if you are at the point where you accept that and you're willing to work on it, I think that the ENFJ and the INFJ is a really cool relationship. And that's all I have for you. Thank you for listening.